This is the moment most beginners rush into and absolutely regret it. Because placing a trade is easy, okay? Placing the right trade with the right order type, the right size, and the right expectations, that's where things can go right or wrong. Today, I want to slow all that down, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to place a trade, what each order type does, what to avoid, and what's actually happening the moment you click buy. Because once real money's on the line, mistakes get expensive, okay? I want you to know what you're doing before you enter because, listen, we're risking money. Your emotions are going to take over. I don't want you panicking about the right order type. Now, as you go through this, make sure to open your free day trading workbook below. There's a section where you can map out your orders, position sizes, and walk through trades step by step. So when you start paper trading or trading really small, choose what works for you. You're not guessing on these orders. You're executing with a plan. And by the end of this video, you'll be ready to paper trade or trade small with intent, not panicking about doing it right. So we're going to start out with market orders. Now, this is unpopular. I don't want you using market orders. They can be okay. Often they end up being a disaster. So let me explain what a market order is, and I think it will help you understand this. Now, people use market orders because it's easiest. You just click buy. Like that's all you have to do. I don't want you to be lazy because market orders can burn you. When you use a market order, you're basically telling a broker, I don't care what price I buy this stock at. Like I just want 1,000 shares and I don't care what price. Give me any price. Doesn't sound very good, right? And then on the flip side, you're in a stock, you do a market sell, you're now telling that broker, I don't care what price I sell at. Just get me out. Think about that. Would you ever do that with a car or a house? Like you go to the car dealer and you're like, I just want that car. I don't care how much it is. You'd never do that. Or if you're selling your car, like say you're going to get a new car and you put it on the internet and you're like, I don't care what price I sell it for. That's what you're doing with a market order. Now, odds are you're going to get filled somewhere around the market price. I mean, it's like if you sell a car, a guy's going to be up and say, hey, I'll give you $100 and, it might be a $20,000 car. So it's not like you're going to have a $19,000 difference on a market order, but you can create a lot of slippage that way because the market and the brokers basically take advantage of people using market orders. They give them terrible fills on buys. They'll fill you way higher than the stock is trading at. So now you're bought higher than you wanted. Then when you go to sell with a market order, they're going to give you the worst possible fill price, which is going to sell lower than you wanted. So think about all of that slippage that happens there. I mean, you're giving away, like let's say it's a profitable trade. You enter, they give you a bad fill on the enter. Then you go to sell, they give you a bad sell. And it was a successful trade, but you basically donated money to the broker. That was your money at the end of the day. If you would have used a limit order that we go over, you would have, kept that money. Now, again, I get the temptation. You see a stock moving, you want to get in, you want to be filled as fast as possible. I would tell you, never use market orders. I can't remember. It's probably 15 years ago, the last time I used a market order. But newbies do it because it's easy. This shouldn't be that easy. Now, limit orders is what I tell all of you guys to use. What a limit order is doing is you're putting in an order and saying, like from the buy side, I will not pay more than this. Okay? Like let's say it's a $1 stock. You put in a limit order to buy at $1 and I will not pay more than $1 a share. Won't do it. Now again, go back to market orders. People don't like that because with limit orders, you may have to wait to get a fill. Maybe that stock is trading at 102, 103. Your order is at 1, it will not execute until the stock pulls back to 1. But that's what we want. We want to trade these stocks at our prices, not the prices that the market makers or brokers decide to grant us at. So you will have orders that sit there and you have to wait. Real trading, successful trading, it's a lot of waiting. It's being a professional. It's not being impulsive. Now, with a limit order, on the flip side of selling, you're basically saying, I will not sell for less than this. So let's say it's a successful dollar trade and your profit target was $1.30. You were looking for 30%. So you'll put a limit sell at $1.30, and you'll have to wait for that stock to come up and fill your order. But you're now selling at your price, not to the whims of the market makers and brokers. So it will take time. You may have to adjust those orders. Like sometimes you'll have a limit sell, stock goes up to 129, starts to shift. I simply cancel and replace my order to get out, but I'm doing it on my terms, not their terms. Hopefully you guys get this. Like, you'll get gamed. You'll get ripped off basically because you're allowing them to do it. Use limit orders. Now, stop orders and stop limit orders, I highly recommend as well. With stop orders, that's putting in an order that is only executing when that price is hit. So when we buy stocks, we have stops in place so that way if you have to leave your desk or maybe you're distracted, you'll get filled at that price, you're out of the stock. Now, one thing I want you guys to know, because of the way the market is, stop orders do not execute in pre-market or after hours. But for all of you guys that are brand new traders, I would caution you, I want you just trading during the market day anyway, because of stops only working during the market day and the liquidity is higher and the moves are more real. All of you guys, you're watching a beginner's course. I want you to start out small and start out smart. Because if you don't learn the right way and you don't have the rules and the criteria, you're going to end up doing something in pre-market or after hours and it'll get really ugly really fast. Save that for when you have a foundation. I love pre-market trading. I love after hours trading. We have some great setups, but the rules are different. You got to have the foundation before you go into the wild, wild west of pre and after hours. Save that for later. When you've got the foundation, you're consistently profitable, you've got a methodology and a process, then foray into pre and after hours. Now, stop limit orders are a great tool I like to use to basically put in an order only when a designated price is hit. So a stop limit order, you have a stop price that only enters a limit order if your stop price is hit. So what I like to use with these is trading key levels. Like, again, I'm using a $1 stock as an example a lot because we trade a lot of $1 stocks. So say this is a big gap up and you're trading that dollar cross setup, that Rubicon cross as we call it. And the stock's at about 90 cents. You know, it's kind of chopping around in the mid 90s. I can now put a stop order in at $1 with a limit price of say 101, so that now when that stock spikes up to $1, my order is entered, my limit order, the limit price that I'm willing to pay is executed, and now I don't pay more than $1. I might get a better fill. That's the other thing about limit orders is, and I didn't mention this and should have, a limit order is you get filled at your price or better. Okay, that's the definition of a limit order. So when I'm buying with a limit order, I might get filled lower. Lower is better when we're going long. When I go to sell with a limit order, I might get filled above my sell. So you make a few cents or a few percent extra because of the fact that I'm only selling at my price or better. Next, position sizing. How many shares is the right number? This is really important, okay? All of you, as mentioned in the previous video, should have a trade plan. How much you're willing to risk in dollars per trade. Now, I use that $100 example a lot because I think that's a good number for beginning traders, but your number might be smaller. Maybe it's $50, maybe it's $10. There is no bad number when you're getting started, but you should have that number that is a small but acceptable amount you're willing to lose every trade. Like when you lose that much, you're not freaking out, getting ready to quit, I'm never going to succeed at this. I'm done. We know losses are part of trading. And so because of that, we always go into the trade knowing how much we're willing to risk. Now, maybe some of you are more experienced. Some of you have bigger accounts. Your number might be $1,000. It might be $10,000. I mean, I don't know your specific situation, but if you're risking $10,000 a trade, you better be willing to live with that. And if you've got millions of dollars, that's an acceptable risk. So now we know going in how many shares we're going to trade based on how much per share we're risking per trade. So as we go to the order ticket, we're filling all of those in. What price am I buying at? How many shares am I buying at? And then all of this is the same on the reverse. So that now we know our upside, we know our downside, we know our order type, and we can actually execute. Now I want to talk about trading, executing trades. Paper trading is good. I will never bash paper trading. The only thing is there's no emotion involved because there is no real money. Now, I would never dissuade anyone from paper trading. It's a great way to learn how these order types work. The fact is you're going to make mistakes. You're going to buy the wrong stock. You're going to buy more shares than you intended to. You're going to use the wrong order type. The great thing about paper trading is if you screw all of that up, wrong order type, wrong price, wrong position size, you're not losing real money. Okay, that's the value of it. Then you can learn from that mistake and be like, oh, okay, next paper trade, I won't do that. But you're not losing any real money. Now, one advantage of where we are now is probably all of you have commission-free brokers. So one thing that I recommend, and this is up to you, is you can literally just trade 1 share or 10 shares of these stocks, and it's real money, so you're getting the real mechanics of it. And listen, if you're buying, 10 shares of a $1 stock and it ends up a disaster, I mean, you're losing a few bucks. Maybe you're losing like $10 or something. I mean, your downside is limited. So if you want a paper trade, I would highly recommend it. If you don't like that idea and you want to have skin in the game, as we say, just start out really small. The mechanics are the same. The mechanics are what's valuable, and that's what I want you to learn. It's the same if you're buying 1 share or 1 million shares. And now that we have commission-free brokers, no downside. Like when I got started, I only paper traded, this is 20 years ago, because if you did, 1 or 2 shares, I mean, the commissions would just eat you alive. Like you'd pay so much, you'd be spending hundreds of dollars with a small account just to execute these trades. So consider trading small if you're, not attracted to paper trading. So now you know how to place a trade, but that's not what keeps you in the game. Knowing when to trade, how much to risk, that's everything. In the next video, we're covering the most important topic in the entire course, risk management. This is what separates traders who last from traders who blow up. Do not skip the next video.